Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram,
Aadhaar card పంపించిన చూడండి.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram,
Ram Ram. In case jara చూసుకోండి.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram,
మన కాల్ లో ఉన్నది రీడింగ్ కాల్.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram.
Once అయిపోయాక ట్రాన్సాక్షన్ అయిపోయినాక
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram.
That also I need.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram.
It's not a favorable thing.
Hare Krishna,
You go.
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram 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 Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram.
Material world means asakti.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram,
यथार्थम परिणाम निर्बंध कृष्ण समानंद
Hare Krishna, Krishna
वो आसक्ति है वो आसक्ति कृष्ण पे
Hare
करो
Ram,
अच्छा है वो देखो उसमें
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
वही be comfortable
Hare
with
Ram,
this
Ram.
trying करेंगे उसको जो है तो
Hare
आपको हमें
Krishna,
तो सदा भी बोलो
Krishna
सौकर्य फैसिलिटीज
Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram.
jogging को
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram.
चाहिए
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram.
बस से
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna,
नॉट से
Krishna Krishna,
कंप्लीट करके नो
Hare Ram,
60,000 years सफर नहीं करते
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
तो योगी आगे बन गए योगी
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
हरे राम
Hare Ram, Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, 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 Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Raju Prabhu, Gaurav Prabhu, Prathman Prabhu, Surendra Prabhu, Vipa Mataji, Sandhya Mataji, Vani Mataji, Dhanavad Pranam. All glory to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining today. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Namaste Gauravani Krishna Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Asadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Mukhaṁ karoti vācālam bhangamulam jayate girimme kripatanakam bande Shri Gurum Dinataradam Paramananda Madhakam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Om Pavitra Pavitrona Sarvavasangatya Yasmaret Pundaring Auction Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. We are reading from which canto?
Second canto, 4th chapter.
Yes, Mataji, you can say anyway. I'm asking anybody. Gaurav Prabhu, Sandhya Mataji, Surendra Prabhu, Vani Mataji. Which canto we are reading? Canto.
Second canto, Prabhuji.
Second
Second
canto.
canto, third chapter onwards, Prabhuji, I think.
I think correct Japala.
Second canto, third chapter, Prabhuji.
Fourth chapter.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Right. So, what is the fourth chapter at least? Anybody remembers? Fourth chapter title.
The process of creation.
Very good. So 100 marks for you. Gaurav Prabhu ki jai. Thank you very much. So we'll start. So 22nd verse. So this one done, Mataji. Help me here. I mean, I didn't go through recording. Deepa Mataji, this one done. 21. Did I put message? I forgot to put message, I think. So let me see. Click here. 22nd verse. Is that right?
Not sure, Prabhuji.
Let me see one more thing. Okay. Previous answer I could have. 21 we've done, I think. 21 done. Yeah. Kai Krishna Tadiya Pada Pankaja Panjarantram. Yes. That is, we played the Srila Prabhupada on 22nd. Yes. We start. We can start Mataji anyway. Even though if you repeat it, it's okay. You can start
Yes,
Mataji.
sir. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. Purport. As we have already discussed herein before, the Lord, as the supersoul of all living beings from Brahma to the insignificant ant, endows all with the required knowledge potent in every living being. A living being is sufficiently potent to possess knowledge from the Lord in the proportion of 56/4 or 78% of the full knowledge acquirable. Since the living being is constitutionally part and parcel of the Lord, he is unable to assimilate all the knowledge that the Lord possesses himself. In the conditioned state, the living being is subject to forgetting everything after a change of body, known as death. This potent knowledge is again inspired by the Lord from within the heart of every living being, and it is known as the awakening of knowledge, for it is comparable to awakening from sleep or unconsciousness. This awakening of knowledge is under the full control of the Lord, and therefore we find in the practical world different grades of knowledge in different persons. This awakening of knowledge is neither an automatic nor a material interaction. The supply source is the Lord himself, Dhiyampati. For even Brahma is also subject to this regulation of the Supreme Creator. In the beginning of the creation, Brahma is born first without any father and mother, because before Brahma there were no other living beings. Brahma is born from the lotus which grows from the abdomen of the Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and therefore he is known as Aja. This Brahma or Aja is also a living being, part and parcel of the Lord, but being the most pious devotee of the Lord, Brahma is inspired by the Lord to create, subsequent to the main creation by the Lord, through the agency of material nature. Therefore, neither the material nature nor Brahma is independent of the Lord. The material scientist can merely observe the reactions of the material nature without understanding the direction behind such activities, as a child can see the action of electricity without any knowledge of the powerhouse engineer. This imperfect knowledge of the material scientist is due to a poor fund of knowledge. The Vedic knowledge was therefore first impregnated within Brahma, and it appears that Brahma distributed the Vedic knowledge. Brahma is undoubtedly the speaker of the Vedic knowledge, but actually He was inspired by the Lord to receive such transcendental knowledge as it directly descends from the Lord. The Vedas are therefore called Apaurushaya, or not imparted by any created being. Before the creation of the Lord was there Narayana Paro Vyaktat, and therefore the words spoken by the Lord are vibrations of transcendental sound. There is a gulf of difference between the two qualities of sound, namely Prakrita and Aprakrita. The physicist can deal only with the Prakrita sound, or sound vibrated in the material sky, and therefore we must know that the Vedic sounds recorded in symbolic expressions cannot be understood by anyone within this universe unless and until one is inspired by the vibration of supernatural Aprakrita sound, which descends in the chain of disciplic succession from the Lord to Brahma, from Brahma to Narada, from Narada to Vyasa, and so on. No mundane scholar can translate or reveal the true import of the Vedic mantras hymns. They cannot be understood unless one is inspired or initiated by the authorized spiritual master. The original spiritual master is the Lord himself, and the succession comes down through the sources of parampara, as clearly stated in the 4th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. So unless one receives the transcendental knowledge from the authorized parampara, one should be considered useless, nishphala mata, even though one may be greatly qualified in the mundane advancements of arts or science. Shukdev Goswami is praying to the Lord by dint of being inspired from within by the Lord, so that he could rightly explain the facts and figures of creation as inquired by Maharaja Parikshit. A spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like the mundane scholar, but is Shrotriyam Brahma Nishtham. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. What he's saying here, a spiritual master is not a theoretical speculator like the mundane scholar, but Shrotriyam Brahmanistam. In the parampara, he heard, no, he has a spiritual master. That spiritual master is a spiritual master in a sequence of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava. We are all part of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Vaishnava. That means spiritual master, the Vani, the sound vibration, hearing from the from Brahma, Narada, and then Madhvacharya, all the acharyas. That is the Shrotriyam Brahmanistam. Shrotriya means hearing, but same knowledge. That's where intentionally, Prabhupada intentionally put Bhagavad Gita as it is. We are probably saying from Bhagavad Gita as it is. No minus, no addings, no interpretations, speculations, and what is we call adulteration, different things. No, as it is. Yes, we'll go to 23rd. Sandhya Mataji, please read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who in his Purusha incarnation causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. Purport: As a fully dependent devotee, Sukadeva Goswami, unlike a mundane man who is proud of his own capability, invokes the pleasure of the personality of Godhead so that his statements may be successful and appreciated by the hearers. The devotee always thinks of himself as instrumental for anything successfully carried out, and he declines to take credit for anything done by himself. The godless atheist wants to take all credit for activities, not knowing that even a blade of grass cannot move without the sanction of the Supreme Spirit, the personality of Godhead. Sukadeva Goswami therefore wants to move by the direction of the Supreme Lord, who inspired Brahma to speak the Vedic wisdom. The truths described in the Vedic literatures are not theories of mundane
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Unable to hear you, Mataji.
Now, Prabhuji?
Now, okay, yeah.
The Vedic truths are all perfect descriptions of the factual truth without any mistake or illusion. And Sukadeva Goswami wants to present the truths of creation not as a metaphysical theory of philosophical speculation, but as the actual facts and figures of the subject. Since he would be dictated to by the Lord exactly in the same manner as Brahmaji was inspired. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, the Lord is himself the father of the Vedanta knowledge, and it is he only who knows the factual purport of Vedanta philosophy. So, there is no greater truth than the principles of religion mentioned in the Vedas. Such Vedic knowledge or religion is disseminated by authorities like Sukadeva Goswami because he is a humble devotional servitor of Lord, the Lord who has no desire to become a self-appointed interpreter without authority. That is the way of explaining the Vedic knowledge, technically known as parampara system or descending process.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Sorry, Prabhuji, background noise. I'm at a relative's house. So.
No, why, sir? It's okay. Thank you so much for reading, even though you are in different situation. Thank you. That's what we want.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. So there are two panthas: Arohana Pantha, Avarohana Pantha, ascending process and descending process. So as we followers of Guru Parampara, which comes on which process? Arohana or Avarohana? Anybody hear this Arohana Pantha, Avarohana Pantha? Yes, Avarohana, yes. Avarohana Pantha, descending process. Ascending, descending. So descending process. So Brahma, so a Supreme Personality of Godhead, Brahma, Narada, like that. Yes. Vani Matri, can you please read?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
Pranam. Yeah, from where should I start, Prabhuji?
Yeah,
The intelligent man.
yes.
The intelligent man can see without mistake that any material creation, whether one's own body or a fruit or flower, cannot beautifully grow up without the spiritual touch. The greatest intelligent man of the world or the greatest man of the science can present everything very beautifully only insofar as the spirit life is there, or in so much as the spiritual touch is there. Therefore, the source of all truths is the Supreme Spirit and not gross matter, as wrongly conceived by the gross materialist. We get information from the Vedic literature that the Lord himself first entered the vacuum of the material universe, and thus all things gradually develop one after another. Similarly, the Lord is situated as localized Paramatma in every individual being, hence everything is done by him very beautifully. The 16 principal creative elements, namely earth, water, fire, air, sky, and the 11 sense organs, first developed from the Lord himself and was thereby shared by the living entities. Thus, the material elements were created for the enjoyment of the living entities. The beautiful arrangement behind all material manifestations is therefore made possible by the energy of the Lord, and the individual living entity can only pray to the Lord to understand it properly. Since the Lord is the supreme entity, different from Sukadeva Goswami, the prayer can be offered to him. The Lord helps the living entity to enjoy material creation, but he is aloof from such false enjoyment. Sukadeva prays for the mercy of the Lord, not only for being helped personally in presenting the truth, but also for helping others to whom he would like to speak.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Now, Radhika Mataji, are you able to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, please read.
Translation purport by Srila
Prabhuji,
Prabhupada.
అది శ్లోక చదవట్లేదా ప్రభుజీ మనము దీనికి? Sorry,
భాగవతం
Prabhuji.
అంటే ఇంపార్టెంట్ వర్డ్స్ లో అయితే చదువుతాము. ఆ శ్లోక రిసైటేషన్ ఎట్ ద ఎండ్ రైట్ మాతాజీ.
Okay. All right, Prabhuji.
డ్యూరింగ్ ద కాల్, రీడింగ్ కాల్, కొంతసేపు రీడింగ్ తర్వాత లాస్ట్ 15-20 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes శ్లోక రిసైటేషన్ లాస్ట్.
No, my question is ఇప్పుడు మాతాజీ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్ చదువుతారు, దాని ముందు శ్లోక చదవడం అది అంటున్నా.
అది చదవట్లేదు మాతాజీ, మనం ముందు నుండి చేయట్లేదు అది శ్లోక, అండ్ వర్డ్ బై వర్డ్ చదవట్లేదు. డైరెక్ట్ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్
ఓన్లీ సీసీకి వేస్తాం మాతాజీ, చైత్ర చరితంలో వేస్తాం ఓన్లీ, అంటే అక్కడ డిఫరెంట్ ఉంటాయి కదా శ్లోకాస్, ఒక్క సీసీలో చేస్తాం అంతే మాతాజీ.
ఓకే ఓకే.
యాక్చువల్గా ఏమైనా ఇంపార్టెంట్ వర్డ్స్ ఉంటే మన లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు wanted to recite with all of us. Okay.
Okay, got it, Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So Radhika Mataji, can you please?
Yes, Dr. Hare Krishna. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasdev, the incarnation of Vasudev, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink up the nectarian transcendental knowledge dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In pursuance of the specific utterance Vedas, or the compiler of the system of transcendental knowledge, Srila Sridhar Swami has commented that the respectful obeisances are offered to Srila Vyasdev, who is the incarnation of Vasudev. Srila Jiva Goswami has agreed to this, but Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has made a further advance, namely that the nectar from the mouth of Lord Krishna is transferred to his different consorts, and thus they learn the finer arts of music, dance, dressing, decorations, and all such things which are relished by the Lord. Such music, dance, and decorations enjoyed by the Lord are certainly not anything mundane, because the Lord is addressed in the very beginning as Para or transcendental. The transcendental knowledge is unknown to the forgotten conditioned souls. Srila Vyasadeva, who is the incarnation of the Lord, thus compiled the Vedic literatures to revive the lost memory of the conditioned souls about their therefore try to understand the Vedic scriptures or the nectar transferred by the Lord to his consorts in the conjugal humor from the lotus-like mouth of Vyasadeva or Shukadev. By gradual development of transcendental knowledge, one can rise to the stage of the transcendental arts of music and dance displayed by the Lord in his Rasa Leela. But without having the Vedic knowledge, one can hardly understand the transcendental nature of the Lord's Rasa dance and music. The pure devotees of the Lord, however, can equally relish the nectar in the form of the profound philosophical discourses and in the form of kissing by the Lord in the Rasa dance, as there is no mundane distinction between the two.
Thank you very much, Mataji. I think Mataji is all Mataji is done. Sirisha Mataji, are you there? Raju Prabhu? It's okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Yeah, she's not the Prabhu.
She's able to read? Prabhu?
Ninde avta Prabhu.
Yeah, next Gaurav Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, translation Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Read it, Prabhu.
Yeah, translation. Yes, Prabhu. Translation. My dear King, Brahma, the firstborn, on being questioned by Narada, exactly appraised him on his subject as it is had been directly spoken by the Lord to his own son, who was impregnated with Vedic knowledge from his very birth. Purport. As soon as Brahma was born of the abdominal lotus petals of Vishnu, he was impregnated with Vedic knowledge, and therefore he is known as Vedagarbha, or a Vedantist from the embryo. Without Vedic knowledge or perfect infallible knowledge, no one can create anything. All scientific knowledge and perfect knowledge are Vedic. One can get all types of information from the Vedas, and as such, Brahma was impregnated with all perfect knowledge so that it was possible for him to create. Thus, Brahma knew the perfect description of the creation, as it was exactly appraised to him by the Supreme Lord Hari. Brahma, on being questioned by Narada, told Narada exactly what he had heard directly from the Lord. Narada again told exactly the same thing to the Vyasa, and Vyasa told Sukadeva Goswami exactly what he heard from Narada, and Sukadeva was going to repeat the same statement as he had heard from the Vyasa. That is the way of Vedic understanding. The language of Vedas can be revealed only by the above mentioned disciplic succession and not otherwise. Hare Krishna. హరే కృష్ణ ప్రభు, గిరీష్ ప్రభుజీ టికెట్స్ బుక్ చేశారు ప్రభుజీ?
నేను అకించన్ ప్రభు చెప్పాను ప్రభుజీ. సో మేబీ లెట్ మీ నో. ఐ హావ్ షేర్డ్ మై ఆధార్ కార్డ్ ఆల్సో.
We have booked ప్రభుజీ. Yeah, we have booked.
Yeah, you have మెసేజ్ చూసాను నేను. థ్యాంక్ యూ, వెరీ గుడ్. విశాఖనే బుక్ చేద్దాం. ఇది అయిపోయింది ప్రభు. చాంట్ ఇది కంప్లీట్ చేయండి. ఇది కంప్లీట్ చేయండి ప్రభు. రాజు ప్రభు మీరే కంప్లీట్ చేయండి మొత్తం.
Okay. There is no use in theories. Knowledge must be factual. There are many things that are complicated, and one cannot understand them unless they are explained by one who knows. The Vedic knowledge is also very difficult to know and must be learned by the above mentioned system. Otherwise, it is not at all understood. Sukadeva Goswami therefore prayed for the mercy of the Lord so that he might be able to repeat the very same message that was spoken directly by the Lord to Brahma, or what was directly spoken by Brahma to Narada. Therefore, the statements of creation explained by Sukadeva Goswami are not at all as the mundaners suggest, theoretical, but are perfectly correct. One who hears these messages and tries to assimilate them gets perfect information of the material creation. Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So we have done with the second canto, fourth chapter, process of creation, and 25 verses, small chapter, 25 verses were there. Subodhini guide, we will refer both together after CC Madhya. CC Madhya, 6th chapter, right? 6th chapter we have to read. Hare Krishna.
ప్రభుజీ,
ఇక్కడ 4th ఉంటే అక్కడ 6th ఉండదు.
ప్రభుజీ,
అంటే చెప్పండి ప్రభుజీ.
yeah, all the shlokas together we read, na? Only translations. That can we do, Prabhu?
ఏమంటారు ప్రభు?
This chapter, all translations only we will read, na?
అంటే సుబోధినిలో రిపీట్ అవుతుందని చేయట్లేదు ప్రభు. సో ఒక జస్ట్ సెకండ్, విల్ డూ ఎనీవే. ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ చెకింగ్ మధ్యలీల సాక్షి గోపాల, దట్స్ 5 చాప్టర్ డన్. ఎస్. ఇది కొద్దిగా మనం మేబీ భాగవతం కొంచెం నేను మేకింగ్ నోట్స్ ఎనీవే ఏం చదువుతున్నాం అనేది. సో యాక్టివిటీస్ ఆఫ్ సాక్షి గోపాల ఆఫ్ మధ్యలీల వి హావ్ డన్. So we have to start the 6th chapter, the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. But before that, Prabhuji said important. Anyway, Subodhini guide lo kuda malli repeat avutundi kada Prabhuji. That's where.
అంటే ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ ట్రాన్స్లేషన్స్ లాగా రిపీట్ అవ్వదు ప్రభుజీ. ఐ థింక్ ఇట్స్ బెటర్ టు రీడ్ ద ట్రాన్స్లేషన్స్ ఒకసారి, ఇంపార్టెంట్ చాప్టర్ కాబట్టి.
Devotees wish, my wish. Let me open. We'll do that. So now, Gaurav Prabhuji, please start 5 translations. Okay.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so I just have to read text 1, right?
Yes. Go ahead. Read it.
Text 1. Sutta Goswami said, Maharaja Parikshit, the son of Uttara, after hearing the speeches of Sukadeva Goswami, which were all about the truth of the self, applied his concentration's faith upon Lord Krishna. Text 2. Maharaj Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affections for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, after his undisputed kingdom. Text 3 to 5. O great sages, the great soul Maharaja Parikshit, constantly wrapped in the thought of Lord Krishna, knowing well of his imminent death, renounced all sorts of fruitive activities, namely act of religion, economic development, and sense gratification, and thus fixed himself firmly in his natural love for Krishna, and asked all these questions exactly as you were asking me.
You can read 2 more also.
Sure, Prabhuji.
Fifth one, yes.
Yeah. Text 5. Maharaja Parikshit said, O learned Brahmana, you know everything because you are without martial contaminations. Therefore, Whatever you have spoken to me appears perfectly right. Your speeches are gradually destroying the darkness of my ignorance, for you are narrating the topics of the Lord.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Surender Prabhu? Surender Prabhu or Saraswati Mata? Hare Bol?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
And Dr. Prabhuji. Okay. Text 6, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, he might be having some internet issues, Prabhuji. Just a second, he'll come back.
Yeah, okay.
Raju Prabhu, you have become the host.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam.
Dhanvat Pranam.
Are you on laptop, Prabhu, or?
No, Prabhuji, I am in tab, Prabhuji.
Okay. Any chance that you can share?
అంటే ఇందులో కొంచెం కష్టమే. I think Prabhuji join, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, I'm again sorry, devotees. My internet, these days acting like anything. Sorry. I'm sharing again.
You're in US, Prabhuji.
Yeah, that's why you're all wondering, na? US internet, kya problem? Everything is perfect. No? Maybe my laptop issue or your internet issue, I'm unable to find. But our friend Amit is saying, replace the laptop. We'll see. You read. Text 6. Text 6. From text 6 to text 10.
I beg to know from you how the personality of Godhead, by his personal energies, creates these phenomenal universes as they are, which are inconceivable even to the great demigods. Text 7. Kindly describe how the Supreme Lord, who is all-powerful, engages his different energies and different expansions in maintaining and, again, winding up the phenomenal world in the sporting spirit of a player. Text 8. O learned Brahmana, the transcendental activities of the Lord are all wonderful, and they appear inconceivable because even great endeavors by many learned scholars have still proved insufficient for understanding them. Text 9. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is one, whether he alone acts with the modes of material nature or simultaneously expands in many forms, or expands consecutively to direct the modes of nature. Text 10. Kindly clear up all these doubtful inquiries, because you are not only vastly learned in the Vedic literatures, but are also a great devotee of the Lord and are therefore as good as the personality of Godhead.
Yeah, so quick. This is the second canto, 4th chapter, process of creation. We are reading, done with every translation purport. We are reading again translations. Thank you. Who else there? Surender Prabhu. Surender Prabhu, please read. Text 11 until 15. Go ahead.
Text 11. Sutta Goswami said, when Sukadev Goswami was thus requested by the king to describe the creative energy of the personality of Godhead, he then systematically remembered the master of the scenes, Sri Krishna, and to reply properly, he spoke thus. Text 12. Sukadev Goswami said, let me offer my respectable obeisances upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who for the creation of the material world accepts the three modes of nature. He is the complete whole residing within the body of everyone, and his ways are inconceivable. Text 13. I again offer my respectable obeisances upon the form of the complete existence and transcendence, who is the liberator of the pious devotees from all the distress and the destroyer of the further advances in atheistic temperament of the non-devotee demons. For the transcendentalists who are situated in the topmost spiritual perfection, he grants their specific destinations.
Other two. Yeah, another two. 14, 15 also he did.
Okay. Text 14. Let me offer my respectable obeisances upon him who is the associate of the members of the Yadu dynasty and who is always a problem for the non-devotees. He is the supreme enjoyer of both the material and spiritual worlds. Yet he enjoys his own abode in the spiritual sky. There is no one equal to him because his transcendental opulence is immeasurable. Text 15. Let me offer my respectable obeisances upon the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, about whom glorification, remembrances, audience, prayers, hearing, and worship can at once cleanse the effects of all sins of the performer. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Lalit Mohan Prabhu, please read.
Yes, Prabhu. Text 16. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna, the highly intellectual, simply by surrendering unto his lotus feet, are relieved of all attachments to present and future existences, and without difficulty progress toward spiritual existence. Text 17. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitful result without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord. Text 18. Kirata, Puna, Andhra, Pulinda, Pulkasha, Abhira, Shumbha, Yavana, members of the Khasa races, and even others addicted to sinful activities can be purified by taking shelter of the devotees of the Lord, due to his being the supreme power. I beg to offer my respectful obeisances unto him. Text 19. He is the super soul and the supreme lord of all self-realized souls. He is the personification of the Vedas, religious scriptures, and austerities. He is worshipped by the Lord Brahma and Shiva and all those who are transcendental to all pretensions. Being so revered with awe and veneration, may that supreme absolute be pleased with me. Text 20. May Lord Sri Krishna, who is worshipable Lord of all devotees, the protector and glory of all kings like Andhaka and Vrishni of the Yadu dynasty, the husband of all goddesses of fortune, the director of all sacrifices and therefore the leader of all living entities, the controller of all intelligence, the proprietor of all planets, spiritual and material, and the supreme incarnation of the earth, the supreme all in all, be merciful upon me. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let me complete my answer. Text 21. It is the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who gives liberation. By thinking of his lotus feet at every second, following the footsteps of authorities, the devotee in trance can see the absolute truth. The learned mental speculators, however, think of him according to their whims. May the Lord be pleased with me. Text 22. May the Lord, who in the beginning of the creation amplified the potent knowledge of Brahma from within his heart and inspired him with the full knowledge of creation and of his own self, and who appeared to be generated from the mouth of Brahma, be pleased with me. May the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who enlivens the materially created bodies of the elements by lying down within the universe, and who is in Purusha incarnation, causes the living being to be subjected to the 16 divisions of material modes, which are his generator, be pleased to decorate my statements. I offer my text 24. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Srila Vyasadeva, the incarnation of Vasudeva, who compiled the Vedic scriptures. The pure devotees drink up the nectarian transcendental knowledge, dropping from the lotus-like mouth of the Lord. Text 25. My dear King Brahma, the firstborn, on being questioned by Narada exactly apprised him on this subject as it had been directly spoken by the Lord, his own son, who was impregnated with Vedic knowledge from his very birth. Hare Krishna. So I have an idea, Prabhuji. Lakshman Prabhu. We as part of Bhakti Vaibhava, we used to get PDFs 2.4. Let me find out the 2.4. Some of the one-liners there. Let us read. Let me share just a second. Just give me a couple of minutes. I will share. Meanwhile, you can share anything. Just give me a couple of minutes.
Yeah, so where we are in Bhagavatam right now? What's happening? Anyone has any clue?
Question by Parikshit Maharaj on creation, Prabhu. He's come back to the topic after 3 chapters. And then he asks Shukdev Goswami about the question about the creation process. So Shukdev Goswami talks about another conversation between Brahma and Narada.
That is about to start actually. See, the question starts from the Suta Goswamis and the sages of Naimisharanya. Okay. The previous chapter, sages of Naimisharanya said to Suta Goswami, please explain to us more about this bhakti. The first 2 chapters, or by end of the 3rd chapter, what happens is Sukadeva Goswami tells to Parikshit Maharaj about what? Karma and Jnana processes. And at the end, he concludes, bhakti is above all these things. The moment they hear bhakti, who? Sages of Naimisharanya, they will interrupt Suta Goswami's pravachan, which he gives on Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Okay? They will interrupt and they will ask more questions. When they ask more questions, then what will Suta Goswami say? Yes, there is a conversation between Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami which happened on this subject. And then he says, Sukadeva Goswami said, and again it will go to the flashback. Okay. Now, so what will Sukadeva Goswami do? Sukadeva Goswami says, praise to the Lord that let me give the answer to this. And how will he start his answer? He will go to one more flashback. What is that? Earlier once, Narada asked the same question which you have asked me, Parikshit, to whom? Brahma. Okay. Now Brahma will reply. So next 2 or 3 chapters which we are about to study is the reply of Brahma to Narada about the process of creation. Okay. Prabhuji, I am done.
Yes, download it, Prabhu. I'm just sharing. Let us quickly read these points. Then we can spend just 5 minutes, so it won't take much time. Thank you, Akinchan Prabhu. Thank you so much for helping me to get the tickets. Hari Bol. Yeah. Lalman Prabhu, you are planning to come?
Yes, Prabhu, I'll come by car, Prabhu, I guess, because I have a small baby.
Nearby from your place?
Yeah, Vizag, we have our relatives, Prabhuji. From Vizag, it's 1 night journey.
Super. I think I see Deepa Mata also. Mata, you are planning to come, Yatra?
Yes, Prabhuji. Flight lo vastanu, Prabhuji.
Wow.
Actually, eppudu Prabhuji like 16th morning ki start avutundi kada.
Yeah, 15th night వరకు ఉంటే better.
15th night లోపల మనం ఉండాలి అంతే కదా. అండ్ రిటర్న్ మనం ఎప్పుడు ప్రభుజీ? 21st నైట్ 22nd నైట్ కి బుక్ చేయాలా?
22nd మొత్తం ఉంటది. నైట్ క్లాస్ ఇస్తారు మహారాజా.
21st last.
21st ప్రభుజీ.
21st night మహారాజా క్లాస్ ఇస్తారు. లాస్ట్ క్లాస్.
22 departure.
22nd మార్నింగ్ మనం బుక్ చేసుకోవచ్చు కదా, బికాస్ 3 hours అయితే మళ్ళీ పూరి నుంచి భువనేశ్వర్ ఉంటుంది కదా. ప్లాన్ చేసుకోవాలనుకుంటా. ఓకే.
బట్ ట్రైన్ అయితే మీకు భలే ఉంటుంది మాత్రం, బికాస్ డివోట్ ఇస్ దేర్, కీర్తన్ ఇస్ దేర్. బట్ ఇట్స్ ఓకే.
అవును ప్రభుజీ, కానీ
Yes, yes.
లైక్ విశాఖ ఇస్ ఇప్పుడు ఫలక్నుమాలో దొరకట్లేదు, దట్ ఈస్ సూపర్ ఫాస్ట్, అది ఆర్ఏసీకి వెళ్ళిపోయింది. అండ్
విశాఖ దొరికితే మాతాజీ
విశాఖ is not ordinary train, it's a very very boring train.
Yeah, it's very
And
boring
it's
train
very
because
long,
it passes
very
through
slow.
our place, Mataji. Yeah, that is
It's
loop
like
line
equal
train.
to going to Delhi only. అలా వెళ్ళిపోతుంది అది, అంతే చాలా స్లో వెళ్తుంది అది. ప్లస్ బేబీ ఐ హావ్ టు లీవ్ మై ఫ్యామిలీ అండ్ కమ్, ఐ హావ్ టు మేక్ ప్రిపరేషన్. ద మోర్ నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ డేస్ మీన్స్ లాంగర్
మీరు ఒక్కరే వస్తున్నారా?
ప్రిపరేషన్. అవును ప్రభుజీ, అలాగా ఎంతో మంది అలోన్ వస్తున్నారు కదా, శిల్ప మాతాజీ. సో ఐ
సింగిల్
జస్ట్ టీమ్ అప్ విత్ దెమ్.
మీ సింగిల్ మాతాజీస్కి డిఫరెంట్ అకామిడేషన్ ఇస్తారు. Still loading, sorry. Very nicely made. We are yesterday we have done with second.
Prabhuji, మీరు అందరూ వెళ్తున్నారా? Everybody in the call is going to Yatra?
Mostly. I mean, Gaurav Prabhu is in US. I'll be there. I will be back in October. So that's a plan.
Okay, I'll be back in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
When, Prabhu? When?
Yeah, I'll be back on 31st. 31st July. Yeah,
31st July?
Yeah.
July?
Yeah.
Okay.
My family is already in India.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it's open now. I'm just sharing.
సో 15th ఆన్గోయింగ్ ఫ్లైట్ ప్రభుజీ, 22nd రిటర్న్ ఫ్లైట్ బుక్ చేసుకోవాలి కదా.
అదే
15th ఆన్గోయింగ్ అండ్ 22nd రిటర్న్.
Move out.
22nd 8 AM ప్రభుజీ. It mentioned that I shared in the group.
ఆ స్క్రీన్ షాట్ పెట్టండి ప్రభు. కార్తిక్ గ్రూప్ లో అసలు PDF కూడా ఉంది, బట్ ఆ డేట్స్ మందం స్క్రీన్ షాట్ తీసి పెట్టండి ప్రభు. ఎవ్రీబడి లుక్స్ డైరెక్ట్.
ఓకే
డేట్స్ మందం స్క్రీన్ షాట్ తీసి పెట్టండి. లలిత్ ప్రభు మీరు డ్రైవ్ చేయండి ప్రభు.
డేట్స్ కూడా ఉన్నాయి అక్కడ పైన ఉంది ప్రభు. డేట్స్ కూడా ఉంది పైన, నేను అది మళ్ళీ పెడతాను చూడండి.
పెట్టారా?
డేట్ కూడా పెట్టాను చూడండి.
నైస్. సో లలిత్ ప్రభు.
Yes, Prabhu. What should I start?
మీరు ఇది నేను జస్ట్ గో త్రూ చేయండి అంతే. ఆయన ఆల్రెడీ సెక్షన్స్ గా పెట్టి లైనర్స్ పెట్టి ఇంపార్టెంట్ శ్లోకాస్ పెట్టుకొని ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేశాడు. జస్ట్ go through it. I'll just move forward. కొట్టగలక మీరు చేస్తూ వెళ్ళిపోండి.
ఓకే,
జస్ట్ ఇది ఒక్క నిమిషం. మనది ల్యాప్టాప్ ఏంటంటే మై బ్యాడ్, అన్ని ఓపెన్ చేసి పెడతానా స్లో అయిపోతుంది ల్యాప్టాప్, అది నాదే ప్రాబ్లం. ఇప్పుడు ఇంతమంది షేర్ చేసింది కనిపించింది కదా, రైట్?
కనపడింది ప్రభు. ఇప్పుడేమో ఒక ఇన్వాయిస్ కనపడుతుంది ప్రభు.
ఇన్వాయిస్ కనపడుతుంది. ఒక ఆర్డర్ ఇచ్చిన పిల్లలకు ఒకటి, మన వృందా బర్త్డే టుమారో, అండ్ బోత్ ఆఫ్ దెమ్ got some smart watch order from Amazon. Okay, you can go through it, Prabhuji, now. Canto 2, chapter 4, process of creation. Yes.
Yeah. Canto 2, chapter 4, process of creation. Okay, one disclaimer. See, this might be boring at this part of time to you, but when you go ahead, this will be very relishing. Okay, right now you might be thinking, "Arey, creation se kya logic hai bhakti ka?" You know, but it really matters. Why? See, wherever the materialistic point of view ends, there the spiritual view starts. Okay, now our scientists and all, they describe and they say that this is how it acts. Either the atom, from the atom, nearly smallest point of atom to the whole creation, they will tell you how this happens. Okay, but they will not tell you where is the energy coming from and why it is happening like that, how it is happening. And that is where the spirituality starts, and that is where the Bhagavatam starts. Okay, Bhagavatam says those elements which is giving power and everything, they are nothing but a property of what? Supreme. And how the Supreme has given all these powers, that is what will be described from here now. Okay, there are 24 elements according to spiritual perspective, and how they are created and how they are operated. Okay, will be bit, what is confusing, because we are so much into science that it will not at once go into us, but it will take time. So I request every one of you to please give that time, okay? Because the process itself is very, purifying, that it will purify you at one point of time. But what you should do is that patience, okay? You should continuously, even if you don't like, just continue. This is a disclaimer, then we will go ahead now. The contents of this chapter is the 1 to 4 shloka. Suta Goswami describes what happens next. Now, to just make you all in line, who is Suta Goswami?
One
The
of
one
the
who is
sage,
speaking
one of the
to
sage,
sages of
one of the
Naimisharanya.
sage he heard along with Parikshit Maharaj when discourses happened with Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj.
Yeah, and what is he doing now?
Naimisharanya sages is describing.
Yes, yes. So Naimisharanya, there are 1,000 sages. Sorry, there is 1,000 years yajna, okay, which is going there, done by many sages, saintly persons. Okay, over there the Suta Goswami reaches. Now these saints or sages who are performing this 1,000 years yajna will ask the questions about Bhagavatam. Okay, now Suta Goswami starts describing them. What will he describe? He will describe the conversation which happened between whom and whom?
Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami.
Yeah, Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami. Okay, this is the present context. From here, there are many layers. Now, what Parikshit and Sukadeva Goswami describes, or what is the conversation between them happening, there will be, we will go to the next layer, like Sukadeva Goswami describing about Narada Muni, what he heard from Brahma. Okay, so that is the next layer. So this like this back and forth, we will be always in the Bhagavatam. Now in this chapter, there will be two conversations happening. What is that? Can you anyone explain? There are two parallel conversations happening. What is that?
Maitreya, between Maitreya and Vidura?
No. That is in 3rd and 4th canto, Prabhu. Here, the parallel discussions are between Suta Goswami and sages of Naimisharanya. And the other discussion is between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Okay? So these are the two discussions which are happening now. In the last chapter, the sages of Naimisharanya interrupted Suta Goswami. So please tell me more about bhakti and creation. Okay? Now, what will Suta Goswami say? Yeah, there was a conversation happened between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj about it. Now, let me tell what Sukadeva Goswami said to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay? And then Sri Sukha Uvacha, it will start. Then what will Sukadeva Goswami say? He will pray to the Lord. Okay? That is how this chapter ends. And the last shloka of this chapter, what will Sukadeva Goswami say? Hey Parikshit, you inquired me about creation. The same questions has been inquired by Narada to Brahma. And Brahma replied to Narada about the process of creation. Now I am describing you the same. Okay? Now everyone is in line with me, na? What is happening and all? See, these are a bit confusing chapters because 3 conversations will happen at the same time. But you should know where we are. So everyone understood this till now? No confusion in this now?
Prabhuji, what is the third conversation that you're talking about? 2 I understood. What about the third one?
Third one is the discussion between Narada and Brahma about creation.
Okay, got it, Prabhuji.
So Sukadeva Goswami describes what Narada heard from Brahmaji about creation. Okay. Now who will Sukadeva Goswami describe all these things to? सुखदेव गोस्वामी किसको बताएंगे ये सब के बारे में? Parikshit.
Sages of Naimisharanya and Parikshit Maharaj.
No. देखो वही है, वही कंफ्यूजन होता है हमेशा. Okay. Sukadev Goswami will only say to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay.
Okay. Prabhuji, when Sukadev Goswami is talking to Parikshit Maharaj, sages आसपास में बैठे हुए नहीं थे क्या? Is it a one-on-one conversation which was happening?
Yes, everyone else is listening. That's it. Okay. And one of the
sages, Mataji, those are not sages of Naimisharanya. There are people in the audience who are listening, but and in that Sutta Goswami is there, but separate sages of Naimisharanya are separate, where they that is the starting of Bhagavatam, like how Sutta Goswami is talking to sages of Naimisharanya. That's a separate episode. When Shukdev Goswami is talking to Parikshit Maharaj, there is an audience which is sitting, which comprises of many, like even demigods and great personalities, and among them Sutta Goswami is sitting and listening. That's why sages of Naimisharanya later ask him, like, you have heard directly when the Bhagavatam was being spoken, so can you tell us about it? And that is the separate conversation. So sages of Naimisharanya are not here, but Sutta Goswami is here, who's the hearer in this case and the speaker in the other case. Am I right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. But did Vani Mataji understand this?
Yeah, I
Vani
got
Mataji?
I got
the context, right?
Yeah, I got the context. Right now, what I'm not understanding is maybe because of the lack of knowledge of Canto 1, and I was also not there in the call for that duration. The Bhagavatam opened with the Sukadev Goswami talking to Naimisharanya sages and them answering these questions, right?
No, Shukdev
When that
Goswami
was
is
happening,
not
was
talking to
Parikshit Maharaj. When that was happening, was Parikshit Maharaj at the banks of the river?
Yeah, Mataji, let me put it like this. See, Bhagavatam starts with sages of Naimisharanya asking questions to Suta Goswami. Okay? Suta, S-U-T-A.
Okay.
Now Suta Goswami tells the flashback of what? Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. Okay,
Prabhuji, got it. Yeah. I got confused. Sukha and Sutta.
Conversations will happen. And what will Sukadeva Goswami tell to Parikshit Maharaj? Many histories, many genealogies. Okay? And now he is about to start creation. Who is about to start? Sukadeva Goswami. To whom? Parikshit Maharaj. Okay?
Okay.
Ardhamayinda Mataji, now we will hear what Sukadeva Goswami told to Parikshit Maharaj. He will start one flashback. What is that flashback? The conversation between Narada and Brahma. Okay? See, Brahma himself is a creator. Now he is describing something that how I have created this universe. That is the next 2 chapters which are about to study. Mataji, you know why Mataji and Prabhuji, why I am repeating all this again and again? If basics are clear, then you will enjoy the class, enjoy Bhagavatam. Else, we will finish Bhagavatam, but we will not know what Bhagavatam is. It happens with many devotees, Matajis and Prabhujis, and I have seen them live. Okay? And basics should be very clear, even though if we are slow, but we will be steadily going. Okay? We will at least know what is happening. Slowly and steadily. If you are with me, it's okay. Else I will stop these conversations and we will study. We will finish Bhagavatam. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, I am done, Prabhu. Yeah. 1 to 4. Suta Goswami describes what happens next. Okay? 5 to 10. Parikshit Maharaj's questions. 11 to 25. Sukadev Goswami's prayers to the Lord. Now everyone understand who is Suta Goswami, who is Sukadev Goswami, and who is Parikshit, and who is sages of Naimisharanya. Everyone understood that?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Everyone, no?
Prabhuji, naku Suta Goswami. Sorry, Prabhuji. Naku Sukadeva evaru telusu kani Suta Goswami background telidu, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Just remember his name, Mataji.
Mataji. Simple. Suta Goswami evaru. మన పరీక్షిత్ మహారాజ్తో పాటు విన్నాడు భాగవతం. ఓకే
ఓకే
మాధవ్ చెప్పినాడు డెమిగాడ్స్, ఈవెన్ వ్యాసదేవ్ కూడా ఉన్నాడు, తన కొడుకు నుంచి విన్నాడు కూడా. అందరు ఉన్నారు అక్కడ.
ఓకే ఓకే
ఈ వెనకాల కనబడుతున్నారు కదా మాతాజీ. ఫస్ట్ ఇస్ సుఖదేవ్ గోస్వామి ఇస్ టాకింగ్ టు పరీక్షిత్ మహారాజ్. ఈయన చైర్ మీద కూర్చున్న పక్కనేమో కింద ఈ సేజెస్ ఉన్నారు కదా, ఆ ఆడియన్స్ లో ఒకళ్ళు శుద్ధ గోస్వామి.
ఓకే
ఓకే, నౌ హీస్ హర్డ్ ఇట్. దిస్ వాస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ లైవ్. వెన్ ఇట్ వాస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ లైవ్, హీస్ హర్డ్ ఇట్ అన్నమాట. Later on, 1,000-year sacrifice was being performed by sages of Naimisharanya because Kali Yuga the symptoms వస్తున్నాయి అని ఇదవుతోంది. So they collect together to perform a 1,000-year sacrifice.
Okay.
ఆ sacrifice అప్పుడు they will ask అన్నమాట. That is the first chapter, first canto. So they will kind of they will ask Sutta Goswami, మీరు అక్కడ డైరెక్ట్ యువర్ ఇన్ ద ఆడియన్స్ కదా, మీరు ఇవన్నీ విన్నారు కదా, మాకు కూడా చెప్పండి. Those are sages of Naimisharanya, and they are talking to Sutta Goswami, who was a part of the audience of this. ఈ ఎపిసోడ్ సెపరేట్ గా అయిపోయింది, ముందు అయిపోయింది అనమాట.
ఓకే 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 సో ఫ్లాష్ బ్యాక్ చెప్తున్నారన్నమాట సుత్త గోస్వామి టు నైమిషారణ్య.
వీళ్ళందరూ కలెక్ట్ అయ్యారు ఇక్కడ. ఆ కలెక్ట్ అయినప్పుడు మీరు విన్నది మాకు కూడా చెప్పండి, బికాస్ ఫస్ట్ దే విల్ గ్లోరిఫై అన్నమాట. వై హీ ఈస్ ద ఐడియల్ స్పీకర్ అని చెప్పేసి ఫస్ట్ దే విల్ గ్లోరిఫై Sutta Goswami's qualities and everything. That's what you will learn in the first canto. So while you are doing the parallelly second canto, go back to the first canto and do that, because that is the foundation, that is the basis based on which all these questions, dani answers ఈ second canto అదంతా ప్రోగ్రెస్ అయ్యేది అక్కడి నుంచి. సో మీది ఎట్లాగో అది పెండింగ్ ఉంది కదా ప్యారలల్ గా, అది కూడా అక్కడ కూడా. అండ్ హీస్ అప్లోడెడ్ ఆల్ దీస్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఫైల్స్. Gorang Darshan Prabhu. As a summary, you can see the files, but go back to the reading also. So then you will understand the context. Otherwise, the number of characters that are there in Bhagavatam, it will only confuse you.
Yeah.
But now you understood, no? Who is Sutta Goswami?
Yeah. Now I understood. ఇప్పుడు అర్థమైంది మాతాజీ. ఇప్పుడు క్లారిటీ వచ్చింది.
చెప్పండి అయితే, who is Sutta Goswami?
Sutta Goswami was the one who heard when he was when Parikshit was hearing from Sukadev Goswami. He was also in the audience. But the first canto starts with Sutta Goswami talking, or rather whatever the events happened, he told to the sages of Naimisharanya. Ante kada?
Yes.
Okay, right.
Sages of Naimisharanya ask him the question.
Ask Sutta Goswami, yeah.
Ask Sutta Goswami, and he will quote the references from this Bhagavatam which was spoken, and then he answers those questions based on what he heard.
Okay, Advain Mataji. Thanks for the explanation.
Thank you, Mataji.
ప్రభుజీ టైం కూడా అయిపోయింది, ఏంటంటారు? రేపు చేస్తారు ఆఫీస్గా
రేపు చేద్దాం ప్రభు. Yeah, but understood, everyone understood what is happening. See, these are very important. Why I am telling this is, all of a sudden, if you go to 4 or 5 cantos, all of a sudden Sutta Goswami speaks karke aa jata hai beech mein. So then you will not have a clue what is happening. Why Sutta Goswami, why he has come. Okay. See, now what is the present conversation which we are reading? The present conversation is between Sutta Goswami and sages of Naimisharanya. Okay. What were they speaking about? Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj.
Yes.
Okay. The conversation between Sukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. That is what spoken at present by whom and whom? Sutta Goswami and sages of Naimisharanya. Okay.
వాళ్ళ కన్వర్జేషన్ లో ఈ స్టోరీ చెప్తుంది మాతాజీ. ఓకేనా వాణి మాతాజీ?
Yes Prabhuji, అది అర్థమైంది Prabhuji. క్లారిటీ వచ్చింది.
ఫర్దర్ టైం
సుఖదేవ్ గోస్వామి మళ్ళీ ఫ్లాష్ బ్యాక్ లోకి వెళ్ళిపోతాడు.
అదే అంటున్నా కదా. సో అందుకే
అది ఇంకా కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయిపోతుంది అనమాట. సుఖదేవ్ గోస్వామి సేస్, నువ్వు నన్ను అడిగిన ప్రశ్న సేమ్ ఎవరు అడిగారు, మళ్ళీ నారదముని బ్రహ్మాజీని అడిగాను. సో బ్రహ్మాజీ ఎట్లా చెప్పిండు.
అట్లా
ఇది ఒక్కొక్కసారి ఎట్లా వెళ్తుంది అంటే, తర్వాత విదుర మైత్రేయ కన్వర్జేషన్ వస్తుంది. విదుర మైత్రేయ కన్వర్జేషన్ ఎవరి మధ్య? విదుర మధ్య, మైత్రేయ మధ్య. ఓకే. ఈ డిస్కషన్ ఎవరు డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్నారు? సుఖదేవ్ గోస్వామి టు పరీక్షిత్ మహారాజ్. ఓకే. సుఖదేవ్ గోస్వామి పరీక్షిత్ మహారాజ్ మధ్య జరిగింది. ప్రెసెంట్ లో ఎవరు డిస్కస్ చేసుకుంటున్నారు?
Sutta Goswami and Naimisharanya sages.
So Prabhuji, basic ga in a nutshell నాకు అర్థమైంది అంటే ఏదైనా Sutta Goswami is talking to Naimisharanya sages, and everything that Sutta is saying is already happened. Already అయిపోయిన conversation between Sukha and Parikshit. All whatever is happened, he is talking in that past tense only, right? ఇలా మాట్లాడారు.
Yes, Mataji.
And in the nutshell, Sukadev Goswami is also going back to his thing, and he is telling that ilaga Narada and Brahma conversation ayindi. Now I'll tell about that conversation.
Personalities gurinchi చెప్తున్నాడు అన్నమాట. చెప్తున్నాడు. The loops of conversation. Actually, Bhakti Vaibhavala adi share చేశారు. Tomorrow let us spend time on this. Okay, tomorrow that Gauranga Darshan Prabhu shared, various conversations in the Srimad Bhagavatam. We will discuss tomorrow. Time is up now. It's okay. This one, Sloka recite chedamu, refresh chedamu adi. Okay. But thing is in a loops of conversation matadi, okay. Okaru cheptunnaru, Naimisharanya vintunnaru. ఎవరి గురించి చెప్తున్నాడు? సుఖదేవ కోసం, పరీక్షిత్ మహారాజు. ఇక్కడ మళ్ళీ సుఖదేవ కోసం ఎవరు చెప్తున్నారు? మైత్రేయ విద్ర అంటున్నాడు. డిఫరెంట్ నారదముని, ప్రచీత, వేరియస్ వస్తాయి అన్నమాట ఫస్ట్ టైమ్స్ అట్లా. Yeah, we don't need to worry. I mean, it's not a overnight understanding, okay? We have to put effort again. A lot of time we need to stay. Bhagavatam is a Amara Puranam. Repeatedly reading, hearing cheyala. Okay? Appude vastadi. Okay, Matadi?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Yes, no need to worry. ఇప్పటికైతే మీకు 3 layers అర్థమైంది కదా? Okay?
Yeah, అర్థమైంది Prabhuji.
That's it. Yes, be happy with it. Later you can get it.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So ఈ శ్లోక రిసైటేషన్ నిన్న ప్రాక్టీస్ చేసినాం కదా మొన్న సాటర్డే రోజు. రిసైట్ చేయండి, we will close the call. Okay? అందరూ ఒకసారి whoever likes to recite, please recite. So okay నా ప్రభు, లైట్ మోహన్ ప్రభు?
Yes Prabhuji, yes.
Yeah. రేపు కొత్త శ్లోకం చూద్దాం. ఓకే. యా చేయండి. మా దీపమాత మీరు ఒకసారి చేయండి. అందరూ ఆల్ whoever likes to quickly.
Yes, Prabhuji. तद्वाग् विसर्गो जनताघ विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबद्धवत्यपि नामान्यनन्तस्य यशोऽङ्कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधवः. हरे कृष्ण.
వాణిమాత చేయండి.
तद्वाग् विसर्गो जनताग विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रतिश्लोकमबध्यवत्यपि नामानि अनन्तस्य यशो कितानि यत् शृण्वन्ति गायन्ति गृह्णन्ति साधव. అస్సలు బాగా చేయలేదు ప్రభుజీ నేను. Sorry, I think I will get that. Yeah, I'll recite last Prabhuji once when everyone is done.
Okay. Sandhya Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Tadvag visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratishlokamabhatvatyapi namnyanantasya yasho nikitani yat shrinvanti gayanti grananti sadavaha. Sorry Prabhuji, actually I did not know about this sloka until last class lo vinaledu.
లాస్ట్ లో మళ్ళీ చేద్దరు కానీ మాది పర్వాలేదు, ఒకసారి వినండి అందరూ.
నెక్స్ట్ రాజు ప్రభు ఆర్ అకించం ప్రభు, సపన్ ప్రభు. హరే కృష్ణ. అకించం ప్రభు, రాజు ప్రభు, సపన్ ప్రభు, సురేందర్ ప్రభు. అందరు లాస్ట్ లో చేస్తారా? అందరు లాస్ట్ చేసి ఎట్లా అయిపోండి.
నేను చేస్తాను ఫస్ట్, నేను చేస్తాను
సరే అంటూ
ఇంకా అదే లాస్ట్, మొత్తం అంతా లాస్ట్ లో రావాలి మళ్ళీ. తద్వాగ్ విసర్గో జనతాగ విప్లవో యస్మిన్ ప్రతిశ్లోకమబద్ధవద్యపి నామాన్యనంతస్య యశోంకితాని యత్ Shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. Okay. I'll do one more time because many devotees were not present yesterday, I guess.
Correct.
Who were present today. Yeah. Tadvag visargo janathaga viplavo yasmin pratishlokamabaddhavatyapi namanyanantasya yashonkitani shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadavaha. Okay. Now anyone can try?
Let me try.
Yes, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Tadvag visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratislokamabaddavatyapi namanyanantasya yashonkitani yat shrinvanti gayanti grinanti sadhava.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Sapam
Raju Prabhu?
Yes, Raju Prabhu. Yeah. Tirisha Mataji.
Okay.
It's okay. Surendra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Want to try, Prabhu? You let it try.
Yeah. Tadvag visargo janatagha viplavo yasmin pratishlokamabhavat abhavat
Abadhavatyapi. Abadhavatyapi.
bhavatya bhavadha
Vatyapi.
namnani anantasya yasho
నేను చెప్తాను రిపీట్ చేస్తారా ప్రభు ఒకసారి?
yes Prabhu, yes.
ఇది కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజన్ ఉంటుంది ఈ లైన్ ఒక్కటి చూసుకోవాలి సార్. నామాన్యనంతస్య యశోన్కితాని
నామాని అనంతస్య యశో
అంకితాని ఓకే యశో అంకితాని
యశోంకితాని యత్
నామాన్యనంతస్య యశోన్కితాని
నామాని అనంతస్య యశోన్ అకీతయాని యత్
శృణ్వంతి గాయంతి గృణంతి సాధవః.
శృణ్వంతి గాయంతి గృహణంతి సాధవః.
ఒక రోజులో రాదు ప్రభు, చాలా కష్టం ఇవి, కానీ స్లోగా రోజు ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తూ వస్తాయి. సరే,
అందుకే
అందరూ కూడా ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తారు. But still,
just requesting Surendra Prabhu, thank you for joining today. If at all possibility there, mornings, please join with us.
Sure, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Sapan Prabhu?
లలిత్ మోహన్ ప్రభు, ఒక చిన్న నాకు వేరే శ్లోక గుర్తొచ్చింది. శృణ్వంతి గాయంతి గ్రహణంతి అభీక్ష్ణశః. అది ఎక్కడ ప్రభు? అది ఒకసారి
ఇప్పుడు రెండే కదా ప్రభు, ఇంకా బోల్డ్ ఉంటే ఇంకా ఎలాగా? ఎందుకంటే దే విల్ గ్లోరిఫై అబౌట్ ద క్వాలిటీస్ ఆఫ్ ద లార్డ్. హూఎవర్ గ్లోరిఫైస్ అబౌట్ ద క్వాలిటీస్ ఆఫ్ ద లార్డ్, you will get this line. Shrinvanti gayanti
గ్రహణంతి అభీక్ష్ణశః.
అభీక్ష్ణశః. Where we read that?
గుర్తు రావట్లేదు ప్రభుజీ.
I will check Prabhuji. I will check. I also didn't remember. But now in 6th canto you will find many of these things, because Krishna, devotees will directly interrupt into the other devotees' life and they will save them. So 6th canto lo kuda ilanti shlokalu chaala ekku untayi Prabhu. Okay. Thank you for remembering other shloka.
Yes Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
I will get back to you.
You can try. Try.
Tadvag visagro janatagava viplavo yasmin pratishlokam abadhavatyapi namanyanantasya yasonkitani yat shrinvanti gayanti grananti sadhava.
Thank you.
Thank you. Akincha Prabhu, try yesara. Yes. రాజు
హరే కృష్ణ నేను వినలేదు బ్రో, అది మొత్తం కాళ్ళు వస్తున్నాయి.
ఓకే 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 I think it's okay, Prabhu. Everybody is there on. We'll connect tomorrow. Okay, Prabhu?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much again, joining for today. Vancha kalpataru bescha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Reading ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam prayers ki jai. Nitai Gaur Hari Premanande. Hari Hari Bo. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. Tomorrow onwards, Purushottam Mass is starting. Anybody likes to take up any services, 9 little more, better for the spiritual progress. And I'm starting some morning call. I mean, you are my evening, but your morning, 4 rounds with some, different ashtakas and 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and 10th chapter of 14th, 10th canto of 14th chapter. We are going to read entire month. So if anybody likes to join, please join. Okay. Hare Krishna. Have a KC Monday.